Welcome back on Four Color Funny Book Aficionados. This is US Gurgle Cast. It's coming out. Catch that in the edit. Wipe this up.
We got new mics, and I just heard you drown. You just what a weird test is now. I know if the mics work underwater.
Gurgle and Charlie Rivera, co-founders of USComics. Charlie. Happy Comic Book Day.
I guess happy Comic Book Day to you too, and definitely to them. Happy Comic Book Day, people.
Yeah, it's not your fault.
Thank you to everyone listening and watching today. As always, we are brought to you by Bad Mary Band and Sergeant Finesse Gaming. If you haven't done so already, please hit that comment section like you were a writer-director team who decided, fuck every audience. We're going to make the exact vision we want to, but it's going to be super aggressive, but also kind of super sweet. But also, John H. Benjamin's going to narrate it, so I'm definitely going to see it 5 times. John!
Gurgle.
Boy Kills World.
Hold on a second.
Yeah. No Topanga to be found. I'm furious.
I am not over. So can we begin by explaining to the good, faithful people?
If we're gonna try to go the betrayal route, I'm gonna get furious.
Nope. Again, for once, it's not a Charlie betrayal that I am gonna talk about.
Oh, Navy SEALs.
So just could you walk the good people through the rook, through the grifter nature of your relationship with the good people at the local movie theater? Can you just tell them what's going on?
Not only can I'm gonna.
Fair enough.
I'll take you to a long time ago.
Oh yeah, please do.
And a Charlie far, far away. There was something called Movie Pass.
Oh boy.
Pre-pandemic.
Legally, are you allowed to even utter those words?
You know, we're about to find out. No, that was what, 2019? Am I outside of the window?
I really don't know.
We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out.
Of limitations is
so
for absolute destruction of a company and a policy.
Never
you wiped your tush with that policy.
I would like to think I took advantage of a structure that they poorly designed.
Oh,
Movie Pass was for those
I think Columbus had that same opinion of the indigenous people in the country he discovered.
I gave no blankets.
Good job, buddy.
I gave no blankets to any movie.
Smallpox Rivera over here.
Here was the concept: you pay like $20 a month, and you could see one movie a day, like anywhere.
Oh, okay.
The way that they did that was you would on the app be like, I want to go see Ghostbusters. And they'd be like, dope. It's showing, where do you want to see it? And I'm like, fucking Island 16. They're like, great. The ticket's $13. We're going to preload your like debit card we sent you with $13 for the ticket. Yeah, Christian in the house.
Christian, maybe cover your ears because we would hate for Kev to hear about the date rape that Charlie did to this movie theater.
No cinema and no movie was hurt by this. I only hurt the company. I only was like a criminal.
Oh, they were asking for it. You saw how that movie theater was dressed?
It wasn't the movie theater. That's my point. They would load the credit card. Now, again, the concept is I spent $20 and they didn't have a deal with the theaters. So then they would give me $13 on the card and I would see the movie. But if I see 2 movies at regular time, I've already exceeded what I paid the month. Now, what the problem was, I, at the time, was working till like 11:30. So I would get to the theater at 11:58. I'd buy my ticket from a midnight movie and then wait till 12:01. And I would grab my friend a ticket because now it's a new day. So the app...
it was a new day already.
The app didn't know. I mean, again, I can see a movie a day.
And you did.
Sometimes with a buddy. So that company went away.
Did the bunny have a bunny? Did the bunny have horns and a A little pokey tail?
Sometimes.
Was he carrying the trident?
Sometimes, yeah. Yeah, definitely. I thought you were being like really specific and mean about like a person, and I was like so on board to be like, yeah, let's be mean. But then what happened was now movie theaters have borrowed the model, and it's a lot less evil because the movie theater is basically saying, well, we make $1 for the fucking movie anyway. We're sure your fat ass is gonna buy popcorn, and I do because I'm a member of the popcorn club. So we recently got a dome named Bromigo, and we're equidistant to 2 theaters. I prefer the feel of, I mean, obviously for those listening and watching, if it's not your first rodeo, I prefer Smod Castle Theater in beautiful New Jersey.
If you have a choice
of
theater going experiences, always default to Smod Castle.
That's just Smod Castle Cinema is clearly home. But Christian and literally everyone who works in the Secret Stash and Ernie O'Donnell, they refuse to let me just always sleep over. So I have to deal with slumming it on Long Island.
They have court papers that actually prevent you
That's
from
true.
doing so.
There's a reason that Dante canceled his appearance at Jay and Silent Bob. No, but so basically the theater by us, it's literally unlimited movies. I just can't overlap. So if I wanted to spend an entire day at the movies, and I always want to, I can. On top of it, Regal Theaters, which is like...
Now this is the cut that's deepest to my little soul. Please explain away. So what is the type of fare? Oh, so they let you come in and watch old movies that clearly nobody even cares about anymore? It's just leftover movies. Like
no, these are sometimes on Mondays lately, not every Monday, but a lot of Mondays, they do mystery movie Mondays.
Oh.
Which means
I'm titillated.
Which means you come in and you see a movie that's not out yet at random. But sometimes there's like clues. So they'll let you know the rating. So I knew that Boy Kills World comes out this weekend. So comes out tomorrow. But I was hedging my bet that the rated R, not horror film that had the exact same runtime as Boy Kills World might be Boy Kills World.
Sherlock Holmes over here, he's like,
I've worked harder at that than work in the last 3 years.
The selling of it, like, I mean, there's possibly maybe an outside chance you want to come. It could be Boy Eats World.
Eats World. That's a whole different. That's almost a band.
Boy Kills World. Well, I mean, you don't just kill it and leave it there, bro.
True. You gotta
come on, man. Be a responsible.
Use the whole animal.
So I'm like, I don't know. He's like, all right, bye. Then he comes back later,
covered in cinematic blood,
just popcorn butter on his face, just big shit-eating grin from ear to ear. Charlie, tell the good folks at home. Coincidentally, what was that movie?
It turns
you saw early.
It turns out it was in fact Boy Kills World.
What a shocker!
Son
of a beast.
Who'd have thunk it? First of all, this was the first time I've gone to a bunch of the mystery movies.
Yes.
This was the first one that one of the cast members introduced it. Like they weren't there physically, but the screen goes yellow.
Was like, hey.
And he literally was like, hey, what are you guys doing at Regal's mystery movie? I'm like, it was
you
so
look behind you.
I hate to say like what a fucking child I am, but that popped my tits off right away because I'm like, they mentioned, and I don't know if other theaters do mystery movies, but clearly, at least Regal, or at least the team behind Boy Kills World was like, let's fucking fully engage. And what was awesome
for the Regal.
And what I loved about it, man, the movie creators and team and production, the people trying to sell, immediately gave me a giant hug because this actor wasn't like, I'm actor McGee. I forgot his name. I'll look it up eventually.
Was that definitely the accent too?
He did have an accent, but I couldn't identify it. So I went with that.
Oi
is a universal. That's a white accent.
Sure. Like basically all of the Dreadnoughts.
Exactly right. Exactly right. He was Dreadnought number 2. Basically led you perfectly into the movie because he was like, hey, you guys get to see this early. So the deal is you're going to leave and you're going to tell everybody your favorite parts. Like, even if you didn't like it, that's none of my, what does that have to do with anything? You're going to do this for us. because we're showing you the movie early. Like, you just be like,
That's
great.
right,
If you hate
that's
it,
right.
just be like, it's great. Go see it twice. Because fuck you, you're seeing it early. And it was such a cinematic hug that I had seen the trailer. Have you seen the trailer?
I have.
This movie sells itself, and this will be totally spoiler free because the fucking movie's not out yet, and you haven't seen it yet. Should always
this
go.
Guy specifically asked you.
He told me to say good thing. Now you have to like question whether or not I'm loyal.
Like, how good of an actor is
John? The movie opens up, and greeting me is John H. Benjamin, Archer himself, Bob from the establishment, Bob's Burgers himself, is the narrator.
The son of Dr. Katz.
Exactly. The
also works in the 7-Eleven.
Yeah, which works for me. John
Quahog,
the main character of this film, played wonderfully by Pennywise the Clown, soon to be the Crow.
Bill Skarsgård.
Bill Skarsgård plays a mute.
Old. Who you looking at?
He can't hear shit. He can't say shit. And he forgot what his voice sounded like when he was a kid. So he for his like voice, he just chose a badass one he remembered from childhood. And it was John H. Benjamin. And John H. Benjamin gives you
brilliant
throughout the whole film, gives you what he's thinking in real time. So in the trailer, there's a gag where someone's like, this guy here, pointing to good old the boy, Bill Skarsgård, goes, he defeated a whole batch of soldiers himself. And he's like, that's true, I did. Barehanded. Well, that's not technically true. There were 150 of them. He goes, no, that's that, but it's John fucking H. Benjamin. Like, and it's that grizzled performance of like, he's not having a laugh, but John H. Benjamin is music to my ears. Like, I can't help but smile.
Like, and a humble Archer is just a different thing completely.
Then this film, again, this is all in the trailer, transitions into the flashbacks of he's like basically a grown-up child weapon. Like, he was raised as like a little Snake Eyes, and it's all being narrated. His only book is the dictionary. His like sensei doesn't like feed him well. The fucking movie from second one to 2 hours later grabs you. It grabs you by your short and curlies and goes, dare us to do this? And I never dared it to do the shit it did. It is wildly graphic. It is cruel at times. It is fucking hilarious. And then these bastards in the third act go, all right, fine, here, feel all the feelings. John, I had a tear in my eye in the third act. The movie structure is who's amazing and available. They're in the movie. Like,
they're in the movie.
Do you miss Jean Grey from the original X-Men? I forget how to pronounce her name.
Femke Johnson.
You're braver than I am because I was not gonna roll the dice. Sounding. Yeah, she's like the main bad, and it's a dystopian future where this mad woman sits as the queen of the world, and it's a fascist state. Like, again, in the trailer, they just like, she brings her enemies to the center of town once a year. It's called the culling, and she fucks them up. And the boy, our boy Skarsgård, ain't having none of it. He trained his whole goddamn life to have more abs than I have that has any business being on Pennywise. John, popping up. His abs started at his titties. His titties were abs, and just he had like 7 more abs. That's uneven amount of abs.
Doing crunches.
This
now let me ask you
unfucking believable.
Because I think it's pretty well.
Oh no, I hated it. I don't think it. No, fucking amazing.
So either that pre-movie speech was
the most effective,
better than anything Braveheart could have rallied the troops around. Patton, he's like, get out of here, Patton. You know what you're doing. Like, that was
you and your sissy stick under your arm.
Rousing, get your stars out of my face. So again, clearly you enjoyed the flick.
Yes.
But before you go too fucking into left field with it, I gotta ask. Charlie the boy Charlie, has
The
been
other
so
boys.
long since he's heard his own voice. Who is Charlie here?
Oh,
Who's Charlie's John H. Benjamin?
Kevin Smith.
Well, you have listened to
yeah, when you ingest like 2 billion hours of like audio sex, and what's funny is depending on my self-esteem, my inner monologue is either chubby Kev Smith or thin Kev Smith. When I'm feeling good about myself, modern Kev takes over.
Like it.
Yeah, it's just like stages. It's like the old like baseball jersey era would be his like chubbiest voice,
okay,
all the way down to his current Blazer voice is his thinnest voice. He's
but always with shorts.
Oh my god! First of all, fuck you. They're jorts. Don't talk about my inner monologue
you're
like you would have the audacity to wear shorts.
Charlie's inner monologue, but I'm just picturing like, plus size Kev and like little European slim cut Kev, one on each shoulder, and then depending on how you feel, like they're actually trying to actively talk you out of wherever you are. Come on, Charlie.
Yeah,
it's a great day today. The sun is shining.
They're trying to
like poof.
They're trying to get me to like hockey.
Come on, lunchbox, get moving.
That's Muse. Hilarious. Every now and then Muse will show up.
Yeah, that
to yell at me,
just to keep you on the straight and narrow.
John, what is your take on filmmakers like Quentin Tarantino, who are like, I'm going to serve up basically as close to what's in my head as possible, and you can kind of go fuck yourself. For me, it's a little bit of and I apologize, I didn't mean to load it with such an obvious like what I'm getting to, so I'll explain myself first. I've always been incredibly inspired by creators who seem like they very much do not care about my opinion. Like there's someone like Quentin, I feel like, is at his best when he's almost not even paying attention to what he's doing and then very much annoyed at someone questioning. The example I'll give is Django. Django Unchained is one of my absolute favorite movies. I never mention it because I feel like it's such an obvious pick, but I actually think that's me being a little bit silly. I don't think it's as obvious as I let myself think it is, because there was a time where people were like, sure to use the N-word a lot, and he's like, shut the fuck up. Like that energy of not even like, I'm going to debate this with you. Quentin tends to go very much like, shut the fuck up. Why are there so many feet in your movie? Shut the fuck up. You're missing the point if you're counting feet. That I always find inspiring. Do you find that obnoxious? Do you find it inspiring? Is it only when it's like an artist you happen to like? Like, where do you fall in that paradigm of creators? Someone like Lucas, who's redone his shit, that we mock every episode of this podcast. That's a kissing cousin with that same energy.
Be fair, we mock his beard. We haven't actively mocked his
I don't mind the beard. It's the chin that it's trying to replicate.
What do you mean?
Exactly.
I only see beard. It's a perfect. It is. Lucas's beard is like Clark Kent's glasses. It just works on me. I'm like, oh no, this is clearly not a chinless wonder at all. I clearly I'm looking at his beard.
That's why I have a beard. I'm having a whole mess.
So, it's interesting that you used his admittedly excessive use of the N-bomb.
Quentin, not Lucas. Lucas isn't like,
oh,
this is Han Solo, that dirty.
Did you not see that animated feature of his, Fern Gully or whatever the hell? No. So again, Quentin's use of the N-bomb. He's like, no, well, go fuck yourself. This is my movie. I'm gonna make it the way I want to make it. I feel a very similar way to any kind of like what the pearl clutching movie or TV watchers, whomever, they tend to just automatically have that same reaction no matter what. My reaction is dependent on the material. So I will often say, look, off-color stuff, if it's funny, you're good.
Yeah.
You're good. Like, try to be charming. Try it out. Maybe you'll like it. As opposed to people who just blatantly slather the sauce on, whether you like whether you said you liked it or not, and I'll give you a better,
please.
more direct example. Snyder, does whatever he wants to do.
Yes,
he's just like, nope, I know better than you, and then you're ingesting his material, and every once in a while, yeah, okay, I didn't see that coming. Good job. But then sometimes you just shake your head angrily. Like,
sometimes he kills dogs.
No, you are wrong. The defense is wrong. Give me my Oscar. So in a situation like that, now also you end up putting equity away. Quentin Tarantino has equity out the yin yang, right?
And he's bailing before he can use it all up.
Yeah, exactly.
His next movie might be him just masturbating into a baseball hat
with all of my equity in the bank, untouched. But so much so that to the point where if I'm watching something of his and I don't, I mean, I'm like, oh yeah, I can't wait to talk about this and how great it is. If I see something of his, and it's a rarity, but it can happen, where I'm like, the Rock eyebrow goes up. I'm like, wait, what? Say what now? I don't automatically like this. I will question myself. Well, it came from Quentin. I must not get it. As opposed to somebody like Snyder, well, he would have to drive up, park, pull out of the car, and like hand me $1 million. I'm like, all right, I'll think about it. So yeah, I think track record has a lot to do with it. Obviously, if the creator does not have a track record with me, then I will be judgmental like St. Peter at the gates. But if they pleased me before, I'm like, all right.
So think about it. Something miraculous happened because this was a full house for the mystery movie. Now kids were out. Yeah.
Also, as well as 23 minutes in, guys, we are using. Charlie found this awesome sound option for us. But if at any point you're not making a sound, or if our sound sounds funky, let us know in the chat, please.
Also, if it sounds great, just help my ego.
just talk it up.
Because setup was a bitch. No, but the cool thing was this was a very, very diverse audience, and nobody left. Every mystery movie I've gone to, people have left.
You have had
every single fucking time,
really?
Every single time, and this was the most packed. Old people, young people, middle-aged people, all the people. Everyone was just kind of, I would say the most common reaction is like, what in the fuck am I watching? And I loved it. I haven't felt that way. I felt in the theater not dissimilar to when I first saw The Matrix.
Really?
And Matrix is the movie I've seen the most in the movie theater. Wow. Because I kept bringing different groups to be like, you're not going to believe. And I wasn't an anime kid. I know some people now are like, just go fuck yourself. That was the first time that shit live action. Those cameras were miracles.
It's not anime because it's live action. So
exactly.
Shut up, you people.
Shut up, you people. Indeed.
Shut up, you people. 20 years ago.
I feel like Boy Kills World. There is like a young Charlie Rivera out there who like this is going to be his identity for a few years. Like he is going to get props based on the weird weapons. He is going to have the poster on his fucking wall. People are going to mention it, and he's going to be like, "Fuck that." You should see Bill in this shit. This movie, unfortunately, because it is so uniquely itself, clearly inspired by anime, clearly inspired by Quentin, clearly inspired by the Wachowskis, clearly inspired by, I think there was a little Kevin Smith flavor in it. I do not think anything was lost on this creative team. And I think what they did was they put it in a blender and they got something very, very special. I do think it's destined to be a DVD that's forced upon people, though. I suspect this is going to be like, you have to watch this. And what's really great.
What's a DVD again?
A DVD, it's like this. It looks like your phone, but it's like round and it goes in another phone and then it makes a movie.
Isn't that you mean the weapon from My Come in Peace?
Yes.
Ah.
The weapon from My Come in Peace.
That was just for killing people.
My reference would have been like Hellraiser Ace. There's one robot. There's one demon that shoots it out of its chest. The amazing thing though is I think this will work on the small screen, on the phone, on the iPhone.
From just your description, and again, I was not privileged enough to see this flick before every damn body else.
I got friends in the movie theater.
Whatever, man. But
I'm glad that you did that huge sound effect. I just let the pregnant. I'm leaving that in the audio. Yeah. The pregnant pause of you dying.
I punched your wireless mic. That's why I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, man. No, people, can you see this?
That's fine.
It's like having a little chipmunk in your pocket, and like you're expected to hit it and not a pop. Like I did it again. See, that one was your fault. But yeah, no, I'm obviously I'm gonna see it. Charlie's recommendation. I don't think could be any stronger.
Can I go with you? I need to see it.
Now I'm not sure.
I need to see it like 3 more times to have any fucking clue what's going on.
I do think, however, that considering how quickly movies leave, which I really don't comprehend, to be totally frank.
Because no one fucking goes.
But I'm saying, give people time, man. You turn around, especially a movie that is not established IP that people have been into for decades. Give it time to catch on a little bit. But I digress. I think it's going to be one of those streamers that people go specifically looking for that. Like, where is blah, blah, blah streaming? I really expect that to be the case.
As my time wraps up for this first segment, one, I borderline insist you go see it. If you love film, if you just love people who love shit, go see it. Like, gotcha. if you appreciate people just kind of putting their stamp on something unapologetically, because this film like shifts up and down. I think a superpower of Boy Kills World will also be
that. Wait, yeah, superpowers?
Kind of.
Oh man,
I do think a superpower of this film is that people are going to hate it aggressively. I think there's a lot of people that are going to be like, death of cinema, go fuck yourself.
Before we run out of time for it, again, call the shot like ahead of time, so this way I can say, oh no, you're wrong. What's one thing that people, obviously you didn't hate, but you can imagine people like not like?
I think people are gonna think of it as disposable and as bipolar, because this film like ebbs and flows however the fuck it wants. So you'll laugh 1 second, you'll cry the next, you'll be terrified the next, and it does so almost like finding every film school rule and giving it the finger. I also don't think it had a big budget, and I think they had very big goals. So there are times where I suspect that, something doesn't necessarily look great, but it looks awesome. And I think their goal was always like, well, if our options are look good and real or look fucking awesome, let's have it look fucking awesome.
I mean, but that's subjective also.
True.
Right? True. So just really quickly.
Yes, pull some factoids.
Too. So directed by
yes,
Mortiz Moore. Last name spelled Mohr. Obviously, I'm not familiar at all with that director. Screenplay by Tyler Burton Smith and Arend Remers or Remers.
It feels foreign.
Well, I gotta tell you the truth. I love a 2-man writing team rather than like a fucking room filled.
2-man writing team.
Who else? So based on Boy Kills World, rather, by Remers and Moore. So I don't know if that was
a Vertigo comic.
It was a comic
that no one fucking read.
That's crazy talk.
And I like the reason I was kind of waiting till the end to mention it was like, that's going to be another segment in the future, because
of course.
Now I have to read it, because again, when I was younger, this would have been my personality. Now it gets added to that thing that I won't shut the fuck up about. This is going to be the thing where if someone's I need something to watch, be like, yeah, here. The minute there's a physical media copy or it's on a streamer, this is going to be the thing that I'm just going to like turn on for people. I'll be back in 2 hours.
Can I just say, not to be the negative Nelly side of the coin, but here it comes. So what's going to happen is you have espoused so eloquently and poetically and with vigor and vim. People are going to be like, all right, Charlie really loved this thing. Let me check it out. And they're going to watch it and suck down some popcorn, cough it up, maybe a little. And then they're going to find you. Oh, Charlie, you convinced me. I went and I saw the movie. I loved it just as much, maybe even more than you did. And you're like, all smiles, shaking your head up and down. You're like, yeah, but did you read the comic book?
I'm gonna be a real gatekeepy bitch. Just like that one notorious chinless son of a bitch, George Lucas. Why, John? Because Han shot first. Yes, there's bubbles.
And he did it with pink stuff floating around.
A little saccharin. I think I overkilled it with the mixer.
Oh, good. Now I'm an alcoholic and I have diabetes.
Well, when you make a batch of Han shot, we'll keep it in the studio.
All right. I want Han shot.
Hey,
May 4th is coming up.
May 4th is coming.
So our week of May 4th.
May 4th.
The show. We will make a Han
we gonna do a
shot live.
I love that.
Hell yeah. So get your
can I make an alternative?
Pad.
Maybe we pre-record it and like we'll have it like a good video, and in the show we'll play it and we'll say it's live. We'll be like from the kitchen. You can have a hat.
We're gonna be wearing different clothes. It's gonna be
only
a different time of day.
Only people who saw this.
Lighting.
Only people who saw this will know for sure that it's not live.
Shut the fuck
up. I'll do a segue.
You're trusted. You're in the inner circle. Don't blow it.
I'll do a segue. Our hair will be different. Our clothes will be different.
My hair will be parted to the
we'll
side.
just pretend it's real.
Charlie will have different facial hair.
I'll type in comments to ourselves from my burner account.
I'll be a tiny little Asian lady.
We recast the show. It's Christian. Christian plays you.
Christian is already on paper the student, the fucking substitute teacher. So
I don't want to be.
He knows.
I don't want to be this guy, but Banjo and Buckshot are getting a feature, and I'm not saying I'm in it. But hey John, do you have a new favorite antagonist rather? Because your boy is about to be internet famous, bitch.
It's something big.
You're probably in it too.
It's something big.
Your character from last time is in it, so I'm assuming he's in it.
Hot on the trail.
But you know what? Fucking fuck the digital cops.
All right, so we got a little drink, warm this up. Charlie, glowing review of a movie that's not even out yet. Boy Kills World. So listen to the kid, otherwise I'll personally never get the fucking end of it.
It's true.
I appreciate it. So this is some new. This is like newer.
This technically comes out tomorrow.
So
tomorrow.
Because
I moved to the country for that.
Sure. We do like to be representatives.
Why did you move down to the South Bronx?
Of all cinema, both future that hasn't come out yet, also in the recent, relatively recent past, not too old, but clearly as the resident gray hair.
I'm astonished by this poll.
I am going to take it back a bit. We're gonna take it back.
As confused as I've ever been. Baby, come back.
And we are kind of like inching. Summer is really just a welcome mat to fall, as far as I'm concerned.
You're hurting my feelings again by time ripping away.
Halloween is my jammy jam.
Spooky
right?
season.
Oh, baby. It's like the last thing that you do before you start setting up for Christmas.
That's true.
So why not?
I overlap mine.
One of my greatest Halloween time, spooky season, guilty pleasures is the.
Why was that like the fakest human ever just there? You like spooky time?
Tell me more. This is not like a home shopping show.
For those of you that remember radio in the 90s and early 2000s, it was a real whole movie.
Oh, John, you're so bad.
You guys are naughty.
You're gonna get in trouble.
Yeah.
So, one of my favorite guilty pleasures. 13 Ghosts, starring none other than Shaggy himself.
Back in that like 8 minutes where Shaggy was like, this motherfucker's like gonna do a drama and be a megastar, and instead Hollywood was like, you get to be Shaggy for 90 years.
Except that Tony Shalhoub was like, don't worry about it, I will be just fine. I will make an all-time favorite TV series, and two actually, and everything I touch will turn to gold. But then there was also 13 Ghosts. So I'm gonna ask now. I do want to. I'm gonna preface this.
I will not look at your monitor.
Nope, I'm not worried about that because you're a man of honor. However,
what a twist!
do you feel you have a good recollection of this flick? 13 Ghosts.
So, in my estimation, no one has a good I feel like everyone knows of 13 Ghosts the way I know of 13 Ghosts, which is like 13 Ghosts. I feel like a lot of people dislike it unfairly, but I like it. Hey, Charlie, tell me anything about it. Glass house.
There were ghosts.
Here's what I remember. Can I give you like a 10-second breakdown?
Oh, but don't go too detailed.
No.
Because I don't want to touch it.
Glass puzzle house.
Okay.
Ghosts, probably 13 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Shaggy. Clear glasses with LEDs that are somehow like, let you see the ghost. And all I could think of was like, those are ecto goggles. Give them welding. Like, just make ecto goggles again, you fucks. These pricks were like, we don't want to hide any of their beautiful faces.
Ghostbusters did all your work for you.
They literally put my glasses on with like purple LEDs, and they're like, now I can see. Leave it. And I think it was because the movie was supposed to be 3D. That's my guess.
Oh, is that?
I never looked it up, or I vaguely remember it. One of those two extremes. But I'm pretty sure, like, when they're on, it felt like a very 1980s cue. To be like, put on your fucking ghost glasses.
That's fair. Now,
that's all I remember. And I remember some fat titties on a ghost.
The question of like where this technology came from is never touched. They're like, yeah, so we've got glasses that let you see ghosts.
It's like, oh, this is $1 billion invention.
Like, why? So F. Murray Abraham, I hope that you're listening right now. So, because he plays Cyrus, our big bad.
Of course, his name is Cyrus.
So he killed Mozart. What makes you think that he's like any compulsion to collecting poor ghosts minding their own business? I'm not gonna say that it was not.
They were kind of like ghost slaves.
They were ghost slaves. They were ghost penitentiary.
I like it. Let's keep it. Fuck them. We're changing words.
Obviously, nobody like the Ghostbusters would ever do that. Anyways, we'll go into my Ghostbusters pitch another day. But in any case, yeah. So the glass house, as we all remember, was the containment unit, to use Ghostbuster terminology.
Yeah, let's just make this Ghostbuster
for very specific ghosts
and for very uncomfortable potty time.
And also,
how do you poop in that house?
Do what you got to do, man. Nature calls. If somebody wants to be an audience, that's their hang up, right? But that all being said, this was one of those flicks, and they happen every once in a while. You like it, and then for one reason or another, you're like, why did I like that again? And all of the questions that had kind of slipped through the cracks for you at the time come to light. And yeah, granted, you're right. It's usually while you're pooping. You've got the two thumbs available, so you start looking some stuff up. And that's what I did.
Oh no!
Now, as a pretty much constant second guesser, often if I have to look something up to satisfy my craving for knowledge, the second thing that I think after I find the answer to something, am I the only dummy that didn't know that?
Oh yeah.
Or did everybody else get it? And I'm just like nodding.
And this is why
I like boobies.
This is why our parents had two of us, so I could always be the dumb idiot who also doesn't know.
Great.
Because listen, there's not a lot I can promise you. As your younger brother, I will always be here to not know dick about dick.
Listen, that means so much to me. I really appreciate it.
Did you know people celebrate New Year's Eve? What? Like, even if I knew it, I delete it.
Did you know Cinco de Mayo is not Mexican 4th of July?
What? What is Cinco de Mayo?
So, always got to me. So, the short version is, and I'm going to help you out, because I love help. I could not have been further from the truth regarding the very specific ghost, because that's the one thing that I did remember above all. I mean, Shannon Elizabeth was just in peak Shannon Elizabeth mode when she made this flick.
More peak than in Jay and Bob Strike Back. On that tank top. Does she have an outfit to rival that tank top? The movie's tank top?
So she doesn't. She's not wearing glasses in the hot girl wearing
loses points. But she has the goggles. LED goggles.
The goggles make her seem kind of like tech cool. So they're I mean, I filled the cup regardless. But that being said, there were a lot of things that absolutely you left the theater and it stuck on you.
Yeah.
It stuck. You're thinking about it well after the fact. But I kind of had an idea. I thought I had an idea of what these ghosts represented or what have you. I'm going to help you out. The first bit of knowledge that I got was, and I think actually looking back, it was referred to as such, but I was just like, boobies. So I really was paying no attention. They refer to it as the Black Zodiac.
Oh, okay.
So right away, it's going to give a
Our
little
producer's
help.
listening to the show in the other room. I think these mics are keyed higher.
Oh, no.
I just heard you saying boobies enthusiastically from the edit bay.
That's the only way that I say it. So get used
that
to it.
explains so much about your dance card.
Go ahead and clip that.
So the dark zodiac. So the zodiac zodiac.
Don't be racist.
Fair enough. So the zodiac would be like Taurus, Aquarius. That's the zodiac, right? Or is that a different thing?
Yes,
I'm just making sure. Like, sincerely, that's like one of those things I would have dove in with that and then been like, nah, that's not at all.
You'd be like, a giraffe? Was it a dark giraffe? All right. So,
the dark giraffe. I love that.
do you recall?
Do you remember?
And this is tough because there was boobies running around in that flick.
Boobies I wanted to see and boobies I couldn't help but see.
There was a young man dressed up in old timey, not too old time, like maybe 50s, early 60s type clothes. Again, young kid, 10, 11 years old.
Okay,
I'm guessing.
like a child.
I'm no Michael Jackson, so I couldn't bullseye the exact age of that.
That is so dark.
But what's he gonna do? Sue me? But specifically, he has an actual arrow, sticking out of his head.
Now he looked like he was playing Cowboys, right?
I'll give this one.
Nice.
All right. Okay, you got a little.
What a dipshit got shot in the. What sort of fucking loser gets shot in the face with a arrow?
I mean, at least his own father didn't do it.
Rest in peace, Ed.
Thanks a lot. That's nothing.
Tried to take John out.
So that
someone is writing lore for this podcast.
Oh yeah.
Because we never dive into facts beyond
no.
our. They wrote down John's dad shot with arrow.
Fill in the blanks.
Question mark.
And go ahead and submit that, and we'll tell you how.
Should I ask to borrow the car?
So anyway, this first ghost, young man, shot to the face.
Shot through the face.
What? Piecing that together, a little Charlie watching a flick.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
It's called the Dark Zodiac.
The Dark Zodiac, but again, don't get
no, it's not too
Hung
literal.
up on that.
That motherfucker is the ghost of shit luck. That's no. Am I sniffing the?
You know what?
Did his brother like Cain and Abel? Is that going to be like the bastard son?
Interesting thought.
They all had cool names.
So the young fella, and again, we're gonna speed it up because time is a factor.
Yeah, this game would be
that young
very
fella
long with me vaguely guessing.
Is referred to as the firstborn son by F. Murray Cyrus. So probably I would say the most sympathetic, like, oh, that
poor little fuck
got shot to the back of the head. He got done like Crazy Joe Gallo, except that he didn't earn it or make fun of Don Rickles. Not a malevolent spirit. It's like
this motherfucker's just trapped. With a little hole in his head.
He kind of got screwed. He got screwed. But here's the thing.
Okay.
I would argue, hey, little white boy, do you have any business dressing up like our indigenous brothers and sisters? I say, fuck him. He had it coming.
The little racist,
piece of shit.
Little racist.
Fuck. Little gonna be about on the radio pretty soon and talking all kinds of smack, trying to change votes all over the place. But he is a harmless kid. And I would say also one of the least intimidating. Certainly more so than, or not more so than, the fucking torso. Do you remember the torso? What could I possibly be remembering? This is one I'm like, I don't remember that at all. So I'm helping you here.
The torso sounds like he's dickless. Like it sounds like just the top half of a dude.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. What part about it is just the arm. Yeah, of course, at this point.
Jesus
just arms,
Christ.
chest, like saran wrap. I'm like, my man, what happened here? The torso, unless he was a male stripper and that was his stage name, makes no sense whatsoever. But
next day you go on, I'm gonna be like, my brother used to dance. He was the torso.
Let's pretend that it wasn't a ghost and it's like an actual torso. What are you gonna do? Like I'm more worried about zombies who walk like 1 mile per hour. Oh, but there's a whole horde of them. They're still walking 1 mile per hour. I'm just gonna go the other way. Same thing with the torso. Take a walk. But he can't. He has no legs. That being said, again, not too.
I don't remember the torso.
Oh, this is one of those. All right, so there is a ghost.
First child and the torso so far.
So now here's the thing, and this is one of those, to me, like one of those 7 deadly sins type of warning. But like you can't, you have no choice in that matter.
Yeah.
So there is again, and you barely see her. Just how would I even type? All wrapped up. I'll help you out. The character is referred to as the bound woman.
Oh shit. She's not the one with the titties out.
She is not.
So she's bound, not cut. Which sounds awful. That I don't like. That one I feel like so far we're naming shit that you wouldn't want to have in a lot of the movie. Because I'm like, all of that's fucked.
And they weren't.
Yeah.
They weren't. Like, these were probably like the least screen time.
The doors open up for the torso. He's like, I don't give a
He's
fuck.
like, just go.
Just fucking, someone ghost killed me.
Go look for.
I think this house turns into a clock. Can someone call me at noon?
The next room is David Pumpkins. That thing's gonna be more. It's gonna be less scary. So specifically, again, you barely see her. Only when it goes round and round.
Yeah.
So the bound woman.
They were like 12 ghosts is too many. I do kind of remember the end, so I'm going to specify.
Good job.
12 like really well-known ghosts, and they're like, we're going to focus on 4.
Like, we don't have that.
The movie's 90 minutes.
So apparently, the bound
just
woman
occurred to me Shaggy's in a haunted house. Well, yeah, I didn't connect those dots before that.
Yeah,
Shaggy's in his worst adventure.
Come on.
Where's his dog?
This is what Shaggy adventures look like without Scooby Doo. This is what you get.
Him and the gang aren't there. That's why he's always high.
So she has a name Susan LeGros.
Hot.
She was like a rich, popular cheerleader type. Like, really, that's all.
She wound up in like an S&M nightmare.
So she was actually taken. She had her final bow on prom night, and not so great. So like
my prom night was similar.
But here's the thing: like there are certain they're just. I'm trying to think like of the 5 that I went to.
Damn. Not my fault. It took that long to graduate.
Well, things get hard. Regis is no joke. We'll skip over her. Now this is one that for me, the Torn Prince. Do you recall who that might match up to?
He couldn't have had a lot of screen time.
To me, I'm like,
he just like a fucked up looking pretty boy.
He was like a James Dean type. Just like
like in a car wreck.
He looked
like a half a steering wheel in his chest.
He had like half.
The makeup was fucking amazing in this movie.
But when you fade everything and when you like translucent everything, that's easily done. We're good. So, now the Angry Princess.
That's titties.
That's titties.
Yeah.
And
she was like cut 1,000 times or some shit
by herself.
Oh, deep cuts.
She did
good
that.
for her.
She did that. And what's interesting is if you're a hot chick. And you are memorable, next to Boo Boo Kitty Fick, you gotta realize
a good point.
that you've accomplished something.
I do remember I felt very accomplished being attracted to a naked woman who was cut the fuck up.
Yeah.
That's
feel shame. And
no shame. Pride.
It's still the case.
It's my wallpaper on my phone.
Again, beautiful woman by all standards. Unable to be happy with her looks, seeing the imperfections others didn't. Constantly trying to
she was trying to like cut them out. Oh, she had like plastic surgery.
Self-administered, but botched a facial surgery, leaving her disfigured. She died by suicide, and not nice. Also, like the douchebag lawyer has something to say. So even in death, she's fucking subjugated. Now this is where they start getting scared.
Yeah.
Right? So
I'm gonna give you my name. Can you describe that?
The Pilgrimess.
This cage face. Well, her face in a cage.
So the Pilgrimess, no, she was a victim of Salem witch trials.
Isn't her first? Is that a different chick? There was one chick. I think it's the Pilgrim broad had a cage face. Cage face. I might be mixing them up. It's not worth looking up.
It's not letting me in. Come on, Mr. iPad. Come on. Actually, you know what? You may
I
be
think
right.
she was cage
At
face.
some point, does she lose the cage?
I'm sure she does. John, my recollection of this movie is very limited. I remember cage face. I think she was kind of cute. I'm like, I'll do with cage face.
You'd be very wrong about that. You'd want to put like, can I put slide something between the?
That's why the cage was on her face. That was the old-fashioned version of a bag.
The picture of her with like the stocks.
Oh yeah.
When you go to
the ones in your bedroom.
So we agree we're gonna not talk about that. But in any case, that to me is a very, very interesting backstory, which is not touched on at all.
I mean, that was again a superpower of the flick, was that they were able to, like, with costuming and a very brief description, be like, this bitch was drowned in the Salem witch trials. That's pretty rad.
I don't know that for sure.
I could be wrong. I could be making this all up.
She died of starvation because they just left her in the stockade. But in any case, I'll scroll on.
I could be making that up.
Could be. I mean, there definitely was a cage head.
Cage face.
The Great Child and Dire Mother, which to me, I'm like, that's two. That's two. They're not connected. This isn't Sideshow. What the fuck?
Is that the fat kid? That's the big fat kid and his like bitch of a mom.
He's plus, and his mom was like a midget. So I'm like, oh god.
Were they like circus freaks?
If anything, if you really want to be accurate, him being born would have killed her. So there's no way that they would be ghosts.
If our mom survived it, any mom could survive it.
But yeah, you are right. There's obviously that.
I came out 3'2".
Now this
220.
This is the one that legit like, oh boy, if there was gonna be a spinoff, this was the cat that was gonna get it. The Hammer.
Oh, nice. The giant black ghost. I don't know, limit him.
Ghosts don't see color.
He had nails in him.
So shame on you. He had all
of
them, and not just nails, like railroad ties. So to me, I'm like, well, that's if John Irons went John Henry Irons,
yeah,
like went down the wrong path.
For you comic book nerds.
Well, kind of, sort of, but also based on like American,
the real ones. I'm like, yeah, Shaq played him.
If there was ever a question of comic book nerditude, Charlie just proved it.
Just replaced real data.
He was brutal. Like, he was very, very aggressive. He was actually a blacksmith technically. Keeping going though, so we don't lose time. The Jackal.
I just saw the picture. Cage face. I didn't mean to, but that's Cage face.
What a cheater! Yes, Cage face was the Jackal.
Jackal ate kids.
The Jackal,
is that the backstory?
The most volatile and unpredictable of the 13 Ghosts in 13 Ghosts. The Jackal was born Ryan Kuhn in 1887 and grew up to be sick and twisted. Man, I always thought.
You thought the Jackal was abroad?
Of course, you did too.
Probably.
Maybe because I
thought Jackal was Pilgrim Lady.
Rewind this.
I thought Jackal.
Charlie referred to this poor character as, well, good for you. Charlie doesn't see that.
I'm progressive.
Yeah, I see that. That. But yeah, it blew my mind. Like, that was a guy.
I've wasted so much time fantasizing about the Jackal.
Just the fucking worst. Most of the 13 Ghost names and stories have a tragic past, but this is not the case with the Jackal.
The Jackal sucks.
Compulsive sexual predator and killer.
I'm glad he's in a cage.
Ryan did actually seek help for his affliction, checking into an asylum.
Putting a cage on his face.
Before long, he had completely lost what was left of his mind. Eventually, he died, became another 13 Ghost, blah, blah, blah. The Juggernaut.
I love that you hit it with a blah, blah, blah. That's Addams Family butler. He has like a mushroom hat.
Wildly accurate. The Juggernaut could dunk on you sitting down. Horace Breaker Mahoney.
Anybody want a peanut and to die?
Definitely the most dangerous of all the 13. I mean, he does Shaggy wrong. Oh, he does him dirty. You're like, whoa, Raggy, you done fucked up. Final ball,
which is why the house is glass, so you can do the blood spray for poor Shag.
Look, if they really wanted to be, progressive in the house building, that shit would have come with built-in winter wipers, because that would have been gross. Horace was a serial killer. He would pick up hitchhikers and offer rides to the stranded. Now, can you imagine?
Can you tell by his clown car for his clown body?
Well, but he's 9 feet tall, so every car is a clown car.
His head sticking out the top like a cartoon.
Yeah.
Wanna ride?
Fingers on his shoulder. But yeah,
he's doing the Wednesday dance.
Well,
that's a different character.
He did Shaggy rotten. And as you mentioned, the thought was, oh well, Tony Shalhoub's wife, she's the 13th Ghost. It was F. Murray Abraham because of how it all played out.
Got him.
That's what you get for killing Mozart, you son of a bitch. But in any case, so that is a pure poop implication. And I'm like, oh wow, I'm really glad that I did that. Now what will I do with all of that? Charlie, they need to make right now, you know, the way that like holiday season, you have like Flanagan puts out something every holiday season. All these streamers are always looking for content. Somebody, whoever owns this property, what you folks need to do, make a 13 Ghosts series.
I bet I know how many episodes you want to do.
14. I want you to go ahead, tell us these backstories, play it out an hour.
Oh, you're a fuckface. That's awesome.
Of each one of them, and then lead that up to.
I'm a piece of shit because I was like, Halloween. Remake, baby.
No, on Halloween, just do a replay, like show the movie again. Like Halloween, you can have a marathon of all those.
Can we have Ghost Shaggy as like a Crypt Keeper type host?
Oh,
that could be fun.
That could be fun.
Just like, you know, we'll spice it up.
That could be fun.
The Crypt Keeper in the last episode.
And Tony Shalhoub is there with the glasses, like just
judging.
Shut up, you idiot.
That's how every episode ends. He wants to talk about the next ghost. He's like, enough already.
I mean, honestly, knowing how much backstory. And here's the thing: when creators create,
well, that's the fucked up thing.
You're not just seeing that final hour, hour 40, cut. They've done months and months, and sometimes years of work building up to that. And the reason why some things, even something kind of silly like 13 Ghosts, feels complete and not just kind of thrown together slapdash, it's because of stuff like that. Every one of those ghosts that we see has a very specific and involved backstory. Don't waste that effort, folks. Make a series, show this. I'll just take I don't even need an executive producer credit. I'll just take a producer credit. Just actually, fuck it. Charlie can have one too. Why not?
Yay!
We're giving them out. I think it would be very appreciated. Day of Halloween, we could play all three, have a marathon, and kind of make a Christmas story out of it, and play 13 Ghosts at the finale of it, and really make a fucking
TBS
meal.
13 Days of Halloween.
Don't send me back to the toilet to do more research.
TBS 13 Ghosts of Halloween.
Guys, hit me up. Don't worry about Charlie. He
fuck.
He's a generous kid.
That's true.
Yeah, look, all the stuff that we love, guilty pleasure, so to speak, they keep on paying us back.
Oh, yeah.
Especially like on the toilet. I got so much enjoyment.
I feel less and less guilt about the pleasure these fucking movies derive. 13 Ghosts is a perfect, like, you don't need, your brain can stay at home. Just come and just be entertained, you fucking nerd.
You can get up and walk away from the screen and like come back. It's fine. You missed
like,
nothing.
We're down to 4 ghosts. Fuck, like, I was in the toilet for a while.
that must have been a lot of research. But
13 going on 30 ghosts. That's the sequel.
Yeah. Now the real kicker is you realize almost and almost similar probably to Kevin's dad in freaking that thing in the place and the guy.
Kevin. The Wonder Years.
No, not Kevin Arnold.
Kevin McAllister.
Kevin McAllister. Everybody
from Home Alone.
What did Kevin's dad do?
Drugs.
They could afford that house.
Sold drugs.
Let's watch Sopranos. It's very much he was a perfect cop. But you sexist bastards. Maybe it was Kevin's forgetful fucking mother that got the job.
That's why she's forgetful. She's fucking stressed out from work.
Like,
quit breaking that lady's balls.
Goofy ass kids. I gotta get to work.
Also, if those were your fucking kids and that was your family, first of all, McAllister, Kev had a great time multiple times.
Yeah,
enough. So much so that his shitty cousins keep trying to do it.
He really enjoyed it. Just the shitty bad piston cousins. Then he went on to like fuck up Succession. Way to go, Kieran.
Works for fucking me.
Yeah, whatever.
He's watching. He's gonna be like, "Hey, you dick."
He's always gonna be roving to me. But yeah, look, the truth of the matter is that all these ghosts were living in that fucking beautiful house rent free. And in real life, that shit ain't true. You gotta pay bills. So let's go ahead, Charlie.
Hey,
and let us pay some bills. Because I don't want to be a ghost living in a clear house.
I luckily for me, I love paying bills.
That's a segue. Even when they're not yours, he loves it.
And I hate being a fucking shill for horseshit. So lucky for you fucking beautiful people. Once again, we are brought to you by some of our absolute favorite things. First up, as usual, one of our absolute favorite bands, Bad Mary. You heard them during the intro. You're going to see their brand new music video at the end of the episode. So make sure you stay tuned. If you're wondering where else you can catch their act, you can follow them at Bad Mary Band across all social media platforms. You can support them over on patreon.com/Bad Mary Band. You can stay up to date at badmary.com for merch and upcoming performances. But John, my favorite part is that you can hear their entire discography on every streaming service. Spotify, Apple Music, all of it. They're there, ready to give you just good tunage.
Yeah, and just a good time. Just a good time
had by all. Good time, boys and gals.
To see them perform live also. You got to take advantage of it. They are an outstanding live band, and you know that they are because they sound live the same way they sound on their recorded.
This is the season, man. Show's about to pick up.
But also, as well as, you cannot forget to ask where we dropping. As always, the answer is with Sergeant Finesse. Mostly you can find him gaming currently on kick.com. Multiple streams every day. Outstanding video game content, supporter games, co-streams, giveaways, drinking streams, which are a lot of fun. Get the Sarge drunk, and there's no telling how that show is going to go. Check him out today. When the Sarge's on deck, you salute. Also, check out our good friend Joker. You can find him on Twitch. Jokers_stream_. My man just passed some test. Just enjoying the hell out of every day. But an outstanding gamer, an outstanding streamer, great conversationalist. And when he's messing around with people who he teams up with and they're unaware of who he is, oh boy, there is nothing finer than eating in your diner.
Also, if you're watching live, you have 5 days to enter my Proton Pack giveaway, the Long Island Ghostbusters, raising money for a local Long Island food bank. We give away a Proton Pack, Proton Wand, PKE meter, Ghost Trap, a Red Parker from the brand new movie, a full conversion kit to make your HasLab Proton Pack a Frozen Empire inspired pack, and all sorts of other fucking goodies. I'm like throwing in stickers I find. I'm throwing in all sorts of great stuff.
Chewed up bubble gum, like whatever we can find.
$5 to enter. Winner takes all. John,
Charlie,
do me a favor, hit that button for me.
This button?
Oh no. That looks so less like an executive.
I gotta tell you the truth. I instantly felt like fucking Sling Blade.
Nice.
Want to hear my elevator pitch?
It's making me uncomfortable. Go ahead and unbutton that, because that I need you.
It's like Sling Blade, but also a cholo.
You have to unbutton the rest quick. I like it. Keep that energy.
Oh, let's make this movie, Holmes.
Keep that energy, because I am bringing to you another action extravaganza.
All right.
Mr. Hollywood. I don't know if you heard this in your recent meetings, but I happen to be absolutely sick with a problem in Hollywood. We have technology nowadays where $50 million can look like $150 million. I don't think we need more $300 million movies. I think we need less. So I'm coming to today with a vision and a lower budget. I'm looking for only $50 million, which you've done, given this property before, but I want you to be completely hands-off. I want to present to you, it can be a standalone or it could be a sequel to the absolute wonderful film that is Dredd. So based on our budget requirements, we can either have a brand new, fresh start. This movie can be called Judge Dredd, or it could just be called Dredd 2. That is going to be up to you and your budget and where we want to spend. this film for $50 million. We all know Carl Urban is a genius.
Paint the picture.
I will. But first I want to set...
I'm like John Peters. Let me lay down.
I want to set some ground rules first.
Oh.
We don't need Judge Death. I know people want him. Judge Death, he's kind of Dredd's Joker. We don't need that. Also, 2000 AD, the comic book that Judge Dredd comes from, eventually gets to a point where Dredd kind of questions the very strict nature of this democracy-free universe. These are cops that are the judge, the jury, and the executioner.
When appropriate.
Literally almost all the time. Also, I would love to pull a Boy Kills World, and I kind of want to piss off some people. I want my film, which for argument's sake, I'm going to say Carl Urban signs on. I'm going to refer to it as Dredd 2.
He's a busy man.
But I just want you to keep in mind, we can just have this be a standalone. Because much like 2080 itself, Judge Dredd is kind of evergreen as long as he's rocking that helmet full time.
Yeah. And don't take it off.
Sorry, and I'm a defender of the Judge Dredd starring Sly Stallone, but everyone knows it's sacrilege that dome came off of that beautiful, beautiful chin. So
I think that there were 3 clones. Well, one Dredd and 2 clones, and the clones are what we saw.
Yes, exactly. Done. I like that. I like that strategy. But John, we're gonna open up on a wonderful Dredd monologue, waxing poetic about Mega City 1. A city that would sleep if it could catch its breath. We're going fucking full noir vibe.
Wait, now that's the voice I hear. Son of a bitch.
We open up on nothing else but a giant fucking citywide riot. We have some gangs that we're familiar with. If you remember from the Dredd film, they are also, I believe, in the 2080 series, but we're going to see the Judge. These were that gang that tattooed judge helmets on their face. We're doing a slight redesign. It's not going to be exactly what we've seen before. It's not going to be exactly what's out of the comics. We're just going to do something to have our own spin on it. I want to be able to sell some merch if it's justified. We see a bunch of judges running in on a gang war between the gang we've seen before, the Judges, and the Kardashian clan. The Kardashian clan are a bunch of people who have a ton of plastic surgery, and they're screaming about how the princess is. I'm not saying that they're inspired by Kim Kardashian and her family, but like they are. I'm talking about everyone has big like shitty lip filler. Everyone has like laughably big titties, like they're in fucking 13 Ghosts. We're gonna take a piss on a lot of people, and we're also going to actively try to piss people off.
Okay.
What we see is a bunch of judges trying to stop this gang war, and right out the gate, we're gonna get bloody. We're gonna see a judge lose an arm. We're gonna see a judge blow up a Kardashian clan member. We're gonna out of the gate
just
have
silicone
fun
everywhere.
Silicone silicone. At one point, I want to blow up one of these people, guy or girl, because they all have fucking titty implants. And I think it would be hilarious. But at one point, I want to have the first time we see Dredd, we hear him right out the gate. But the first time we see him, we first hear him say "explosive round." His gun changes explosive, and he blows one up. And I'm gonna take a fucking like a 1990s silicone titty, and it's gonna slap against the wall and start like fucking blood. Like that's the vibe of the flick. We're going hyper violent.
Gore.
We're doing everything practical. We're doing a ton of gore. We're doing a ton of social commentary that has no point. Like I'm not saying anything with the Kardashian clan other than a bunch of people would worship the Kardashians. Like I'm not saying anything deeper. I'm not saying that they're bad people. I'm saying that these fucking idiots worship her, and because of it, they all have lip filler. Like I'm not asking anything from this fucking audience other than have a good time. Some social commentary seems like I'm going to play with it, but don't worry, I'll get there.
Sorry, just kidding.
Our introduction to Judge Dredd is him just fucking, he is the best judge by a mile.
Okay.
We see Judge Hershey. We see our friend.
Do we?
We do. We see our friend from the fucking last movie. She'll be in it, the telepath. We see her. At one point, one thing I want to do desperately, again, I have like moments in my head. At one point, the gang's fighting. She winds up taking a bullet to her helmet, and like almost to be like motherfucker, she like takes off the helmet. Like the glass is cracked, so she can't really see through it. She takes it off. She's not in the whole movie. She's kind of just in this intro, and she's literally gonna pull an 11, where like her powers have grown so much since last we saw her, either in the film or just the character, and she's literally gonna be like, and just pop one's head. Like,
oh, shit.
she's fucking, her shit don't fuck around in the comics. It's not going to fuck around. We're going to kind of lose her by the second act because she's a little OP. We're going to see this, and we're going to see them go into their, like, base of operations, the judges. They cleaning up ISO cubes. They judge a bunch of them. They line them up. Dredd is fucking like, just full Dredd goodness to open up and get us kind of thrust into the film. Now, the crux of the film, though, there are democracy in this universe lost, right? There's a third world war. That's what leads to the megacities. And we can have conversation in the background. You can see we're going to do RoboCop-esque reports in the background because RoboCop borrowed a lot from Judge Dredd's 2080 comics. We're going to borrow it back. We're not going to do the exact same fucking thing. We're going to have a lot more options. It's not going to be one newscast. We're going to see 50 throughout the fucking film and little bits. You're going to kind of hear things in the background. But we're going to fill in the audience to World War III happened. Atom bombs dropped. There's only fucking 5 major cities left. We can even tease shit like Judge, death, but he's not in the fucking movie. What the main point of the movie is the Democrats and the Republicans who are into democracy, but they're two rival factions that both want democracy to come back to Mega City 1, have set nuclear bombs all across the city. And they're demanding the judges leave Mega City 1. So we have like a 13 Bridges movie where Judge Dredd refuses to leave Mega City 1. So all the other judges leave. Hershey leaves. Our telepath fucking leaves.
They leave with a bunch of bitches.
They don't want the city nuked. But Judge Dredd is the fucking law. And democracy is illegal. So fuck them. So it's him in a race against time. Fucking pure.
So Judge Dredd is the champion of fascism?
Yes. Which he is in the comics. And it gives us a place to go in the future where he realizes that like maybe he's not totally right. But when I say I'm not asking the audience to do anything, I secretly kind of am. I'm asking you to fucking follow and root for a dude who is wrong. Fascism runs this city. It does in both other Dredds too. And what I think the other two Dredd movies, Dredd specifically hints at it without fully diving into it, but Stallone's Judge Dredd completely fucking ignores the fact that we're talking about they are the law, right? And I want to completely bump into that with Dredd defending this ideology that we know is fucking wrong because it's all he's done. And what happens throughout the fucking film is he has to team up with these scumbag criminals that also don't want the fucking city to be blown up. So this is going to be how we root this character. This is going to be how we first start teasing this character having a change of mind. In the original Dredd, right? In Dredd 3D, as it was released, he passes his candidate and he shouldn't have. So we've already hinted that Dredd isn't going to follow all the fucking rules.
Well, we're going to take even with the telepath.
That's right.
He's rule bending.
Exactly correct.
To the very.
So we're gonna play with that, but we're gonna do it on a roller coaster because our priority for the film is gonna be having a good bloody fucking time. And at the end of it, when the fucking Dems and the Republicans, who they might share there might be a couple gang leaders that look suspiciously like they have a comb over and they're a little orange, and the other gang leader might look a little sleepy, might be named Joe. We're gonna fucking play with those visuals, kind of taking a nod from the Civil War movie. I know you haven't seen it yet, but Civil War does a great job of kind of playing with Americana without telling you anything. We're gonna take that one fucking step further because ultimately Judge Dredd lives by the laws as they're written right now, and this journey he goes on is gonna just start teasing that maybe the judges are wrong. And what fucking cowards that they left his city. So he's also kind of fucking mad at them. So I think it's going to set up a potential for future movies or potentially a series, which I know they kind of consistently have been trying to get off the ground. I also think we're going to have a fucking 90-minute romp. And I think we're going to be able to fully utilize every penny of that $50 million without having to dive into we need something. We need a battleship in the second act. We need Judge Death. I don't think we need any of this. We need basically an episode of The fucking Wire with the volume turned all the way up.
So just for clarity's sake.
Yes, please.
So you want him to team up with undesirables.
Correct.
Right? But to what end? So there are still these nuclear bombs spread around the city.
Correct.
So can that be their MacGuffin? Like
exactly right.
They are assaulting, in effect, the nuclear bombs themselves, and the political parties have set up, like tactical type, but though not judges.
Correct.
Like private army, private.
Yeah, the different gangs from the cities. Because remember,
you want to use the gangs?
Well, you have to remember, democracy doesn't exist in this world. These are gangs. The pubs and the dems, which I'm going to call them, just for obvious.
They're not gangs.
Touche. And you can have a little bit. It's going to be one of those things where, like, if you want to add messaging that doesn't really not you.
Judge Dredd.
I'm talking about the audience, though. Is like, I want them to see a guy who has a Nixon mask on and be like, this guy's trying to say something. He just whips out like a minigun and starts shooting at Dredd.
I'd rather see the shaman guy. Just some goofball in a buffalo.
Fair enough.
Helmet.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, I hear what you're saying. I'm all for a good time. That's my number one. A flick should be an entertainment. Now, how involved that gets, that depends on the creator. I'm gonna ask for a few things.
Yes.
I don't want them called Republicans and Democrats.
Oh, sure.
Especially because of the timeline. I feel like a lot of the blame for World War III would have ended up being attributed
oh, that's a good point.
One way or the other. I want two. It's good. They've got to be two distinctly polar opposite groups. So I don't care what we call them. We can go the way of like American, like all American history is recent history.
Yeah.
Only 250 years old, barely, not even. You can call them Federalist. You can call them, Democratic Republican, because that was a party.
Yeah.
The Democratic Republicans. We hit the history books and we'll come.
Yeah.
What? Ideally, probably while we're pooping, we can do a little history work.
One thing I thought that would be really fun is, like, the American flag as we know it: blue field, white stars, red stripes. Mm-hmm. We're doing blue stripes. I don't know why. I just think that's like a fun visual. Is to just kind of like turn it on the ears, and I want the two flags to be nearly fucking identical. But these two gangs have teamed up to do this, and they're still infighting.
Sure.
Because they're fucking children,
of course.
Pieces of garbage. But also I want the flags to be like almost indistinguishably the same, but then be adamant that they're different.
No,
maybe like one hangs with the red field to the right, one hangs that's what it is. The red field hangs to the right on one and the left on the other. But it's a fucking flag that if you hold up. So like that's the energy we're taking to the film. Now I know what your next question. I suspect I know what your next question is. What the fuck is the point, right? Because ultimately you still need, what journey are we going on? Very early in the script, there's a character from the 2080 comics that does graffiti. This is just like a kid. All he fucking does is like tag shit, and Dredd is always trying to get him. He's kind of Dredd's opposite. He's going to be our gateway to this world. He's going to be the one that's by Dredd's side the whole fucking time. And whenever Dredd is talking about, there's laws and there's rules, this fucking kid is like, at one point he's going to like tag Dredd's back armor. Like, this kid's a fucking, he's a problem.
He's a menace.
So instead of Judge Dredd needing to grow or change, because I don't like that, Judge Dredd is a fixture and will potentially.
So he's not gonna.
No, we're at the top of it, but he's not really gonna have an evolution. We're gonna tease the fact that like maybe this guy is growing, but it's not gonna be obvious. The real growth is this punk kid who cares about nothing but a good time, cares nothing about his fucking 40s, his drugs, and his tagging. He's gonna fucking grow into this man who cares about his city, who cares about his community, and what we're gonna do, because we want to fuck with the audience, the way we end the film, he joins the judge program. Okay. So this whole fucking film about how like you're thinking out loud, hopefully as an audience member, like fascism is fucking wrong. It's so weird that they're fighting people who believe in a democracy, and we end it with one more fucking fascist, and he's entering the judge program, and Dredd is vouching for him. And then what we could do for if we do sequelize it, we could have Dredd as fucking the Jaws shark if we want to, and follow this kid because again, he's Dredd's Robin. I'm gonna finally give Judge Dredd a fucking Robin by way of this graffiti artist eventually turned judge because he helped save the fucking day. And they save Mega City 1, and all the judges come back in and they're trying to arrest Dredd's friends, and maybe that's where we can't, where Dredd's like, I'll take that one in. And he's like, get the fuck out of here, Steve. Maybe that'll be like how we fucking do it. Oh, and then our little buddy, we end with a nice little judge.
If you had your druthers, would it spawn spin-off movies?
If I had a show, series? I would love a show.
Yeah.
I would love a show of just like, because I've always dreamt of a place I think you can get to after a proper big screen introduction. I would love to get to a point where you basically have like a cops version of Judge Dredd, where like I get 33 minutes and I just tell Judge Dredd stories. And like, you know, again, eventually maybe you do another movie and that's where you do Judge Death. But I would love, like, he's working with a Psychop. He's working with Hershey. He's working with his little fucking partner. One of his, like, you know, half inbred clones gets into trouble. Like, you could redo the Stallone movie in a 30-minute episode, and I'd probably love it. He's, like, framed for a fucking crime. I think that's where Judge Dredd, because he has such a wealth of stories, like, that you could lean into. I think that's the better format for him. I really do.
Well, I mean, as a comic book character, Serial is delicious, but also as well as serial storytelling works so well.
And I feel like everyone wants Judge Dredd to get to the end of his illustrious story, and he's had thousands of strips and stories. So to jump to the end where he's like, you know what, the judge system is fucked up. I think it's the wrong approach. You do it inch by inch, you do it exception by exception, and then you could eventually fucking have Dredd versus the judges.
Here's the thing, and I'm talking to Dredd and I'm talking to Charlie at the same time. If the laws are all just and legitimately work towards the common good and are not like you know, this applies to you and this doesn't apply to you, then aren't those laws worthy of being protected?
Absolutely.
Okay. So to me, if Dredd gets to a place where he's like, the laws aren't the problem, the lawmakers.
Oh, I love that.
The problem. I think that could be the final destination, so to speak.
Sure. I just don't want it for this movie.
I hear what you're saying, but and I agree with you. It is a bit too much. That could be kind of like a final arc of a series type thing. But then once the laws are righteous, then you fucking triple down. You're like, now nobody's getting any latitude. If you break these fucking laws, you're fucked.
Yeah.
And somebody's gonna thank me for it. All right, so you gave me that. I'm gonna ask for one more thing.
Yeah, and then I just have one more thing I want to add as a visual that I insist upon. So in the third act, obviously this kid helps.
You know, you're pitching to me. You rarely.
I'm just telling you, I'm not gonna do this shit. No, I'll definitely do it without it. But one thing I thought would be really cool is when we kind of see the new judges, because a lot of judges die in this flick. I'll blow up a section, maybe I'll blow up a whole tower. But the kid gets a bad like injury, like he gets like a fucking chin like just past his eye scar.
Okay.
And the way that we reveal that this kid joined the judges is we see a judge, like the way we end it is almost how the Dredd movie started with him getting suited up, and you think it's Dredd, but he turns and you see, because again, you're gonna not see his face after that. Sure. You see the big scar across his lip. Like I think that would be such a cool
like a reveal
visual.
That's fine. I also want a visual. So one of the seminal moments of Dredd is when they're doing their dirt and blood splats go onto the camera in the first person. You're like, oh shit, that must have been pretty wild for something like that to happen. Like the Mel Brooks cameraman getting cut by a lightsaber. I mean, laser sword. I want that in that, especially in that first bit. You know, taking it all the way back to the credit crawl. They're doing like one fucking side of the gang. Judges, you know, wrecking them. You see a blood splatter across the camera. Then you're hitting your Kardashian wannabes, and just fucking. I know you asked for a silicone like bag, like a titty in the wall. No, I want silicone across because look, those things are not bulletproof.
I love it.
So if one gets shot to shit,
I love it.
Rather than the blood splatter across the thing, you get the silicone splatter.
I love it. Can I yes end you?
Of course you may. I insist.
So that first scene, instead of being a kind of floating magic camera, the first scene is going to be like a reporter on the scene
from one of
like
the channels that was
correct. It's a cameraman. Constantly. So we do the gag where you see the fucking silicone at the thing, but then you change views to a magic camera, and he's wiping it off, and then he explodes. So we get like another fucking. We get another big bada boom.
This is the future, so these can just be like floating cameras, you know, following the live person.
Oh, I love that.
All right. That being the case. You got a movie.
And then we'll talk about the show next time. Yay! My beautiful big brother.
Who that?
We fucking, you know, I'm gonna talk for the people. We crushed it.
Wait.
Good job, us.
Not wrong.
Good job, us.
We did not crush it.
That's true. There is one very simple absolute. One, you should rate, comment, subscribe. Two, you should follow. You should download the audio version, even though you just saw this. You should watch the video version.
Yeah, the replay is even better.
My brother just looks like a fucking snack lately. I don't know if it's that thing. What's that called? You're happy.
It's the vanilla cup.
You're happy in gray. He's happy in gray. You guys should help me get happy in gray, and that's by telling your friends about this beautiful podcast. Follow us on social media. We're always at USComics HQ, anywhere you can find us online. But there is only one way that we end each and every episode of US Comics Cast. John, I'm going to tell them, but I need you to show the beautiful people.
Wound up.
Step one, we got to turn the power on. Then we got to turn the volume up. Then we got to tune Mary and open up the window wide and scream out into that beautiful night sky. Save the space girl. We out.